Hey, hey, hey. Happy Tuesday. Come on in. Pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang, and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host, here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, brought to you by, amazingly enough, thegaminggang.com, of which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief. So welcome aboard. Tonight is Tuesday, March 28th, 2023. This is live stream 902. Boing. Welcome aboard, everybody. If you're not overly familiar with how this show works, super casual around here. Just hanging out, talking about the latest in tabletop gaming news, and then we'll take a look at a game. Normally, every once in a while, I'll do a live review, but for the most part, we're always taking first looks here on the Gaming Gang Dispatch. And tonight will be no different because, yes, our horror week continues. Taking a peek at the second edition of Call of Cthulhu, Nameless Horrors from Chaosium Inc. It is a six-pack, I do believe it's six, of Mythos adventures, all suitable for single session one-shots. We're going to dive on into this a little bit later on, so stay tuned. So as I just said, we're going to look at that in just a bit. Please keep in mind, if you're not overly familiar with how the Gaming Gang works, that we always tackle the tabletop gaming news first. So it's probably going to be 35 minutes or so before we jump on into that first look at Nameless Horrors. So if you're watching live, kick back, relax, put your feet up, take a load off. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. Plus, if you happen to be a subscriber to the channel, you'll be able to occupy your time as well. I'll talk about that in just a moment. But if you happen to be watching this stream 30 minutes or more after it ends, then you'll have timestamps. So if you're impatient, you just got to get to that first look. Use the timestamps. They are located in the show notes portion, as well as possibly right there in the timeline in front of you, depending on the device you happen to be watching this on. So there is that. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, don't forget, please visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more that you will not find here on the YouTube channel. Come on, you know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Also, this is a live stream, so that means there is chat available. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But if you happen to be a subscriber and have been for 48 hours or more, you can take part in chat. If you want to say howdy, if you got a question, a comment, by all means, fire away. I'll do my best to respond. First out the gate tonight was Veteran Greyblocks. Flaming Huron, one of our chat moderators, happens to be from across the pond in Australia, is with us, as is Kevin R. Smith tonight. So, welcome aboard. Kind of surprised we have not seen the Madman, our friend, the Motor City Madman from the Detroit area. Not seen him yesterday or today. So hopefully all is well in his neck of the woods. Could be taking a spring break or something like that. So Anyway, Flaming Heron says, I want my first look. Well, you'll just have to be patient. Joshua Guarisco, I'm sure I destroyed that. Sorry, I tried. Is hanging out with us for the first time in chat. So welcome aboard. Flaming Heron said the Madman was going to be off this week. Thank you very much. You guys catch stuff in chat sometimes that I don't because I'm, busy focused on whatever I'm, sharing. So I kind of catch chat out of the corner of my eye, but I don't always see it, especially a lot of times at the end of the show. I don't know why there was this hair. It's like, where did this hair come from? It's kind of dangling on my eyelash there. So a lot of times at the end of the show, I'll completely miss what's going on in chat because I'm wrapping up the show. Kathy Evans is with us today as well. Anyway, Joshua, welcome aboard. Thank you for catching the live stream for the first time. So probably one of those long-time listeners, first-time callers. All right, so without further ado, let's jump on into the news because next month we'll see the return of After the Virus from FryxGames. I've got the dope. The world has been hit by a virus, killing 90% of the population. Most of the survivors have turned into zombies, while the rest are left weak and defenseless. You must rescue as many as you can while gearing up to hold off the ever-increasing number of zombies. After the Virus is a cooperative deck-building game in which ever-increasing numbers of zombies are added to your deck while you work to complete mission goals. Gear up, save survivors, mow down hordes of zombies. The 15 included missions form a storyline if played in sequence, but don't expect to survive that easily because the zombies will attack you in ever-increasing numbers. Your deck is invaded by more zombies each time it's reshuffled, so you need to search the area deck for useful weapons and other things to help you out. Some stuff can be added to your deck while others will stay in your play area, and still others will be usable only once in the game. To manage your deck and play area well is critical if you are to complete the mission before you're overwhelmed by the zombies. After the Virus is for 1, 2, 3 players ages 10 and up, plays in around 30 to 90 minutes, will carry an MSRP of $19.99 when it arrives in stores on April 19th. Alongside of this is a brand new expansion to the game as well. So it sounds kind of interesting. I believe this is a new print run because I think this game originally came out 2018-ish, but I don't think it has been in print. So I think this is a new print run, and there is a new expansion that is also going to be arriving on the 19th. I think it's kind of like a Frozen Tundra sort of expansion. But this does look pretty interesting, although I have to admit the art style throws me off. I think on one hand, it's sort of like, okay, if you were going to go kind of cartoonish, should have gone just cartoon style. And then it also has kind of a realistic look to it as well. So it's sort of like, should have, kind of, because the characters all have like this bobblehead look. So I don't know. I don't know. So there is that. I also wanted to point out, I don't think FryxGames has the same sort of relationship they did a few years back with Stronghold Games. Well, I know they still have, Terraforming Mars and all the other goodies out there that go with Terraforming Mars and Ares Expedition. But it looks like FryxGames is releasing more titles into the United States themselves as opposed to going through Stronghold Games. And maybe That's part of the, yeah, I guess, I don't want to say fallout, but results of Stephen Bonacore leaving or retiring from Stronghold Games. I don't know. But wanted to share this because this actually looks like it'd be cool. Sarah D is with us in chat and floats out there maybe the enlarged head is a side effect of the virus. I don't know. That could be possible. It is a possibility. Moving right along, taking flight in May for Osprey Games is Undaunted Battle of Britain. Here's the latest. The RAF faces the Luftwaffe in this two-player deck-building game of aerial World War II combat. Yeah, it's kind of a deck-building night tonight here on the Dispatch. Summer 1940. The German war machine has rolled through the continent in less than a year, crushing all before it. Britain is all that stands in the way of German victory in Europe. Command the pilots of the battle-tested Luftwaffe who are looking to extinguish all resistance and pave the way to invasion. Or the resourceful and determined RAF opposing them at every turn. Undaunted Battle of Britain is a standalone game in the Undaunted series, adapting the core gameplay of the previous games to recreate the dynamic dogfighting of aerial combat. Maintain cohesion between your pilots, evade anti-aircraft artillery, and leverage talented aces to win the battle for the skies. Undaunted Battle of Britain is for 2 players, ages 14 and up. It'll play in 45 to 60 minutes. It's going to carry an MSRP of $55 when it hits in May. I am kind of curious how they are going to pull this off. So it is built upon the core mechanics of Undaunted, but of course, Undaunted is ground combat. It is not aerial combat, although there are cards that are, you know, like dive bombers, tactical bombers, things like that. But really isn't any dogfighting element to it. So I'm kind of curious how Osprey Games is going to pull this off. Gotta be honest, I do not know if I will get an opportunity to take a peek at it. I did not have an opportunity to review Stalingrad. But then again, Osprey Games tends to send me all the various different RPGs that come out from them. So, don't know. All right. Anyway, so Roger Prudhomme is with us. I don't think I said hello to Roger. 245 Trioxin, Russell Higgins, and Coco B are also hanging out with us. Russell Higgins says, not a deck builder. I'm not sure what they're saying is not a deck builder, because both games I have talked about so far are both deck builders, so I'm not sure. Coco B asks, is that a Spitfire guitar pick? Yeah, I would take a guess. It's essentially the counter for the aircraft, and that's to show exactly which way it's facing. That'd be my guess. So I would take a guess. It almost looks like that could be kind of an the fire arc as well, because there's kind of a background there. So as you can see, I don't know. We shall see. We shall see. Maybe, possibly. So do want to mention, Coco B, I did receive your email earlier today. I'm going to check that out. Got a bad feeling it's going to be the same thing that I've gone through every single time with UPS. So, but I will give it a shot with that phone number. I can't tell you if that phone number rang a bell or not. So I'm not sure if that's a phone number to actually talk to somebody from UPS or if it's just the same number. Anywho, let's move on to some role-playing game news, because now available in print from Goodman Games is the Monsters and Magic of Lankhmar for 5e. Here's the skinny. From the fog-shrouded streets of Lankhmar to your gaming table, Monsters and Magic of Lankhmar is filled with terrible beasts and new magic, each presented in a ready-to-use 5th edition format. Get ready to venture to the land of Lankhmar and see what adventure awaits you and your players. Monsters and Magic of Lankhmar is a softcover source book containing more than 20 new monsters and over 15 new spells and magical items, inspired by the fantastic stories of Fafhrd and the Grey Mouser, as written by world-renowned fantasy author Fritz Leiber. Produced in cooperation with the Fritz Leiber estate, Monsters and Magic of Lankhmar is the perfect way to introduce a dash of Lankhmar into your 5e campaign. Surprised they don't say Nawan, because Lankhmar's a city. The world is Nawan. So, little surprised by that. You can score the 32-page softcover with PDF for $11.99, or grab just the PDF alone over at DriveThruRPG for $8.99. So Russell Higgins says, Undaunted isn't a deck builder. The scenario determines which cards you have available. Correct, but Osprey Games themselves indicate Undaunted is a deck builder. That's why you have it. I'm not saying you're wrong, Russell. I'm just telling you, Osprey Games specifically says that it is a deck builder. So there is that. All right. Anyway, this looks pretty cool. I have not had an opportunity to check out any of the Lankhmar releases for Dungeon Crawl Classics, like the box set that they came out. I think they've got 2 box sets now, if I think about it. They've got the Lankhmar box set, and then they have, I think it's the Greatest Thieves in Lankhmar or something like that. So very interesting. Very interesting. Roger Prudhomme says City of Adventure, good memories. Audible did a fantastic 6-book series for the audiobooks for Fafhrd and Grey Mouser, and really, really well done. I got to be honest, it's got to be maybe 20 years ago. So Coco B says, name recognition, Lankhmar over Nawan. Oh, I'm just saying I'm surprised in that little sell sheet info they never mentioned Nawan. They mentioned Lankhmar like 3 times in it. So that's why I meant I was kind of surprised that they didn't say Nawan or Nawanian. I think that's the terminology for that. Moving right along. Time is running out to take advantage of a quick deal from Bundle of Holding. Here's the deets on the deal. Adventura. This Lampblack quick deal gathers many short supplements, almost all from previous offers, published by Jason Lutz at Lampblack and Brimstone. Though designed for the Apocalypse Engine fantasy role-playing game Dungeon World, this attractive and inventive supplement, the popular Perilous Wilds, Servants of the Cinder Queen, and many more. Oops, hang on one second here. Some strange reason, it's only showing one image. So let's fix that real quickly. Because we've got more. We've got more. Why look at only one image when I've got 5? Anyway, though designed for the Apocalypse Engine fantasy role-playing game Dungeon World, these attractive and inventive supplements, the popular Perilous Wilds, Servants of the Cinder Queen, and many more, introduce fun techniques of world building, overland travel, and dungeon creation that help any fantasy campaign. The Perilous Wilds, released in 2015 and revised in 2022, presents tools that let players collaborate to generate and explore a campaign setting, starting with a blank map or possibly a random creation from Wadabo's Perilous Shores generator. Each player in turn defines and names a region. Then each adds areas of interest, connectors, and local rumors. Wilds and other Lampblack treatments like Perilous Deeps and Freebooters on the Frontier replace or improve many dungeon world procedures for exploration, discovery, and improvised dungeons. Titles like Perilous Almanacs, A Book of Beasts, and A Folio of Followers add tons of colorful specifics. These titles originally appeared in 3 Dungeon World offers in December 2014, January 2016, and April 2018. For just $9.95, you'll get all 11 titles in this Perilous collection with a retail value of $53 as DRM-free PDFs, including the 2022 revised edition of the Perilous Wilds, plus its survival kit, the expansion Perilous Deeps, the Dungeon World sourcebooks Perilous Almanacs, A Book of Beasts, A Folio of Followers, Freebooters on the Frontier, Mad Vandal's Map Pack, and 20 dungeon starters. The Adventure Front, Servants of the Cinder Queen, Funnel World, which adapts the Dungeon Crawl Classics funnel campaign kickoff procedure to Dungeon World. And they've also added Lampblack's recent mini RPG of animals doing human things, Adam Schwanginger's Peace Was Never an Option. The supplements and adventures use the Dungeon World rules, which are not included in this offer. The free Dungeon World system reference document with all the rules is actually widely available, so you can easily pick that up. Should point out, this is a quick deal, so these savings only run through tomorrow. So it's like, So if you would like to get your hands on this, and I have always heard really good things about the Perilous Wilds, only got till tomorrow. So you better jump on board while you can. All right, let's see. Liquid Nebula swung on into chat. So what they've been out hanging around for a little bit, didn't have an opportunity to say hello. But we also have Chuck Terrell and David B. are with us as well. So welcome aboard, everybody. Make yourself comfortable. Put your feet up. Let's jump on into the final news piece of the night. Now available in PDF from Gallant Knight Games is Shadows of a Dying Sun. And I've got the scoop. Explore a Baroque world far past its prime, built upon the bones of history long forgotten. Shadows of Dying Sun, or SOADS, is a role-playing game rules toolkit written by Alan Barr. It's explicitly designed for running Dying Earth genre fantasy in modern frameworks influenced by narrative games, as well as classic adventure games. SOADS is written with the following philosophies in mind. Death. Death is an ever-present threat for the adventurer, and as adventurers walk the heron's path, they draw ever closer to their inevitable demise. But approaching death can be freeing, and as such, you gain access to powerful new abilities and rules. Resource management. As many rules as possible are resources that are in the character's control. This allows them to be aware of where various situations and conditions are, as well as make as fully an informed choice as they can. Guidelines, not absolutes. The rules in this book are designed to get you 90% of the way there. The last 10% happens at your table and makes your game truly unique. Expect to make rulings, not reference rules, and use the existing ideas in this book to leverage the new items you create. Weird, extravagant, dying cultures and civilizations. The cities and nations that still remain in the shadow of the dying sun are the last remnants of Baroque and ornate worlds, the world around you should feel alien and different. The toolkit in this game is deliberately incomplete, designed to provoke you to define the setting and world of the dying sun as you play through it. The game also includes solo play rules, a brief bestiary, character creation, and more. The 88-page Shadows of a Dying Sun PDF is available right now over at DriveThruRPG for $9.99. Sweet! I like the Dying Earth kind of vibe to games. I don't know. Some people have read Jack Vance's stories and haven't cared for them. I like them. I mean, I don't know if I would base a role-playing game's magic system on Vancian magic, but hey, you know, that's just me. Flaming Heron had mentioned, I thought it was the first time I've mentioned one of the quick deals on Bundle of Holding. I have done it once before. But normally the quick deals they don't really grab my attention. Just like right now, the two deals, the regular deals over at Bundle of Holding, nothing too exciting there. Roll for Combat is in chat with us. Good to see you. Welcome again. All right, so that is it for the tabletop gaming news tonight. Of course, I was just talking about DriveThruRPG, and of course, don't forget the gaming gang, thus the Dispatch, is affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are going to visit, say, DriveThruRPG, please stop by thegaminggang.com first, click on one of our banner ads. That way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a small portion of that sale. And all those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do add up and help keep thegaminggang.com around. Also, if you like this video, if you dig the channel, if you find thegaminggang.com to be a valuable resource, hell, if you just like what we do, you can always stop on by paypal.me/thegaminggang and making a small donation. And a big tip of the cap, thank you very much to all of you out there who use the banner ads and or visit paypal.me. Alrighty, so we are going to be jumping on in to take a first look at the second edition of Nameless Horrors for Call of Cthulhu in just a few moments. I did want to mention, to follow up on what I was talking about last night, talking about GaryCon, hopefully people who watch the show do realize I wasn't knocking GaryCon. I was just saying, from my point of view, it financially wouldn't make much sense for me to go once again, simply because both Elliot and I spent the same amount of money as we would going to San Diego Comic-Con or Gen Con, or even if I wanted to go to Origins again. And in situations going to like Comic-Con and Gen Con, I end up getting like review copies of stuff or swag, or I get to do like shoot video for things like, for an example, a Ghost Adventures video from, I think it's from 2018. It's either 2018, 2019, is still one of our top like videos on the channel. It still pulls in people all the time. So what I'm saying is, for like a San Diego Comic-Con or Gen Con, there are things that kind of offset the cost. Like, for a great example, for Gen Con, I bring stuff to the auction. So that auction helps pay. In fact, normally it does pay for the entire trip. So yeah, that's basically what I was saying about GaryCon. Plus, it didn't help that out of the few events that Ellie and I were in, 2 of them got canceled. So that's kind of another thing where it was, we only had so many events that we were able to get into because a lot of them were filled up, and there were, blocks of time that the events that were going on that had openings just weren't up our alley. So that's kind of how it works out. So Flaming Heron says, makes more sense to go to some cons. We aren't all flush with cash. Well, like I said, if they had a thing where they had press passes and that, then yeah, I would consider going back up there again next year. But on top of, the cost and then having to buy a badge and then having those things happen, yeah, not too sure I would do that again. So Disavowed 92 is with us. Said, yo, 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 yo. I mean, hi. Okay. So we'll be diving on in to take a look at Nameless Horrors in just a few moments. But first, I think it's time for a brief intermission.
It's intermission time, folks. Time out for a delicious snack in our sparkling refreshment building. Every item a fresh, appetizing taste treat.
Baseball Joe was a slugger, He made all the pitchers cry. He was frank to admit the reason he hit was Toddy. Toddy.
That's the drink for me.
Toddy.
Try it, Pop, and see.
Toddy. Man, oh man, that's the brand new chocolate malt in a can.
Yes, sirree. Try Toddy and you'll agree. Toddy is as delicious as the finest tasting soda fountain malted you ever had. Ice cold or steaming hot. Ask for Toddy.
Delicious.
On sale now at our snack bar.
Schmitz, one beautiful beer. Schmitz is a dry beer, a mellow beer, a hearty beer, blended into one beer, a light, bright, fun beer. Schmitz, one beautiful beer. Is a dry beer, a mellow beer, a hearty beer, blended into one beer, a light, bright, fun beer. Schmitz, one beautiful beer.
Schmitz of Philadelphia, one beautiful beer.
One truckload Wilkins regular coffee? Check.
What was that?
Wilkins instant coffee? Check.
We can't tell you what there's gonna be, but if you wanna see, you better stick around.
They're slugging it out in the middle of the ring. And there's a hard drive to the job. And Blue Farmer's block is knocked off. His block is knocked off?
Sure, but you can press it right back on again. It's just part of the action with the world's only boxing robots, the Rock'em Sock'em Robots by Marx. Takes 2 managers to handle the fighters and lots of skill to win. With these control levers, you can keep your fighters in motion to duck punches. When you press this plunger, he throws a right uppercut. Press the other plunger and there's a left jab. Lots of exciting action and fun for everyone when the world's only boxing robots battle it out.
The Blue Bomber's looking for an opening. And there it is. That's the end of round 2.
Just push the flying head back and you're ready for round 3.
Boy, this is the greatest.
You bet. The world's only boxing robots. Get the Rock'em Sock'em Robots by Marx.
Rock'em Sock'em Robots. Yes, I had those. Flaming Heron points out that they are still around. Kevin says that they had a secondhand set of Rock'em Sock'em robots. I remember having them as kids, and somehow one of the robots was broken where the head wouldn't stay down. Just kept going, man, man, man. Push it down, just go, bam. So I seem to recall that. But yes, we had the Rock'em Sock'em robots. I think the other thing that would break quite often on them were the handles as you like maneuvered them around. So there was that. I also have to say I felt bad for that St. Bernard having to lug around a metal bucket filled with ice and 2 beers. You could see the dog walking, and it was not comfortable for that dog. And yet, another beer commercial where the wife is far, far more attractive than that husband could possibly land in real life. So, and everybody thought Wontkins was going to get run over. Nope. Wontkins lived and actually didn't have anything terrible happen to it. Alrighty then. So tonight I am going to be taking a first look at the second edition of Call of Cthulhu, Nameless Horrors from Chaosium Inc. It's written by Paul Frigger, Matt Sanderson, Scott Dorward, and friends. This 202-page hardcover carries an MSRP of $42.99, or you can grab the PDF over at DriveThruRPG for $21.99. Flaming Heron says yes, he was punching above his weight for sure. So let's swing it over to the other camera because here I've got Nameless Horrors. 6 scenarios against the unknown. I'm going to get this shrink wrap off of here. So before we dive on in, do want to mention that the fine folks over at Chaosium Inc. were kind enough to provide me with this review copy. But, of course, neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the gaming gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this coverage with you. And as always, it's important that you know that. This is also a scenario book. So if you are a player hoping that your keeper is going to run any of the 6 adventures from Nameless Horrors, I would definitely recommend that you tune out now, because even though this is going to remain pretty spoiler-free, I am not familiar with these 6 adventures because I did not have the first edition of Nameless Horrors. We're still going to run across some stuff that is going to kind of be in the spoiler category, just simply because we're going to be paging through a good amount of this book. Also, we're not going to look at each and every page, but I do want to give you a good feel for what is in Nameless Horrors. So let's take a look at the back here. 6 scenarios against the unknown. The horrors of the Cthulhu mythos are far worse than death. The entries lurking in this collection of scenarios have never been seen before. Whether budding novices or seasoned investigators, your players will find themselves on uncomfortable ground. This new edition of Nameless Horrors contains brand new art, player handouts, and maps for each of its 6 standalone scenarios. Then it goes through each of the adventures. Of course, you do need the Call of Cthulhu rules in order to play. Let's jump on in. Russell Higgins says, you love this game. Yes, it is one of my favorites. I love me my Call of Cthulhu. So we have a mature content warning. It says the material in the supplement deals with mature themes: violence, gore, murder, abuse, drug abuse, assault, moral corruption, and sexual activity. It says, in addition, the Moonchild scenario alludes to off-stage abuse of a child. So, you've been warned. You have been warned. So we get an overview of the scenarios. So I do understand that these run a gamut of different eras as well. I have to take a peek to see if Chaosium has announced like a release date for their newest edition of Cthulhu by Gaslight. Because I know that's coming. It's got to be coming soon. So, our first adventure here. Trying to see if we've got. Oh, here we go. Right here it says the Cthulhu by Gaslight investigators in this scenario are thrown into an echo of the night in 1287 when the first storm hit Dunwich. So, right there, that's telling us, because I could have swore Chaosium had announced that, but I don't recall when the exact, when they're planning on releasing it. So I'm just trying to see if we've got some sort of I know we had the synopsises right there on the one page, but I was hoping there'd be kind of a synopsis for each of these as well. So this one takes place in Dunwich, England. And I would take a wild guess. So we're talking about, looks like we have a witch being put to death. So it says that this is primarily designed for up to 6 pre-generated investigators. However, if the keeper wishes to run the scenario for a pre-existing party of investigators in any era, all that needs to initially occur is that they are traveling just off the Suffolk coastline at the time of the severe storm. Okay. So Chuck Terrell says, already, the art is an improvement over yesterday. Yeah, you know, I don't... So, Coco B's saying the same thing. Flaming Heron says, I guess I'll see whether this is worth a buy. So, my understanding is really the only new things about this edition is the artwork and the handouts, and that it's for 7th edition. So, of course, it's been tweaked as far as stat blocks and things like that. But other than that, it's not as if that we have new adventures or anything like that. So Kevin says quality is usually better in Call of Cthulhu products. Also keeps up a consistent tone. Yes, normally they do. So here we've got some of the different handouts. So it looks like this is an adventure that's taking place in 2 points in time. The 13th century and the late 19th century. Oh, look, it's Alan Moore complaining about the comic book industry again. All right, so we have Dunwich through the ages. So areas of interest. So it's showing us the coastline in different periods. It's kind of cool. And then we've got our NPCs. Okay, so what do we have? A message of art. Sorry about the side boob, everybody. 1892, Paris. In creating humanity, the Elder Things, intentionally or not, left fundamental flaws in their design. Yeah, sorry, big spoiler if you've not written or not read at the Mountains of Madness. So yes, the elder things created humanity. It says, for one, human minds are too fragile to comprehend the cosmic horror of existence that lies out in the darkness of space. However, from the human mind comes a set of talents that many mythos races apparently fail to possess or have in lesser value: the arts, creativity, and imagination. Scholars of the mythos might well ponder on these questions. Had the Migo indulged in poetry to describe their flight through space? Had the dark young of Shub-Niggurath ever sculpted the beauty of a flower? From what humanity knows of these races, the evidence would certainly seem to suggest that the answer to each question is a resounding no. Okay. So it says, a message of art typically runs over 1 or 2 sessions, with the natural breakpoint being the transition between Act 1 and Act 2. Flaming Heron says, scandalous side boob. So, little bit of background here. Let's see what we got. Trying to see if we have any kind of breakdown of what this adventure is about. So it says some background for the Keeper. Paris, France, 1892. It was a period of peace across Europe. Scientific discoveries and technological advancements were being made while newly emerging artistic fashions clamored for attention. In Paris, the arts flourished. Many works regarded as masterpieces today were being crafted in this time. So, there we go. We've got a couple of bookmarks. Says, it should be noted that many of the details in the scenario are factual. Josephine Pleiding was a real person who founded the Mystic Order of the Rose and Cross. The Salon de la Rose and Cross did exhibit symbolist art as described. You know what? I'm jumping back here so I can refer to our little synopsis here, our overviews. Okay, so a message of art, 1892. The first salon hosted by the Salon de la Rose and Cross has just come to a close. The Parisian elite have gathered to celebrate the art show that its creators hoped would revolutionize the art scene across Europe and possibly the world. Some of the most prominent artists of the symbolist movement are present, along with critics and supporters of the salon. Here, art and religion have become one in a dangerous fusion. The investigators, as members of the artistic elite, are about to uncover that such talent was never intended to be part of the design of man. Chuck was pointing out booty. Hey, I gave you that mature theme warning. So it's kind of cool how we get these relationship maps. That is something that is relatively new to Call of Cthulhu. Not to say that we haven't had information previously. Hey, finally some color art. But usually it's just written. We don't have kind of almost like a heat map drawn out for us to show us how the various NPCs relate to each other. So it looks like this might be a bit of a murder mystery here. And then we've got our conclusion. And some fell on stony ground. For some reason, the title of this adventure is familiar. Like I said, I never had this first edition, but I think I have seen a couple of the adventures. Small town America, 1920s. Life is not quite what it used to be for the residents of Stowell. Local people are behaving strangely. Some delve the mysteries of science, while others experiment with avant-garde music. Events escalate as the townspeople are increasingly divided into masters and slaves. When the situation is seemingly resolved, the final act is triggered, and the story changes to one of survival horror. Well, Agent Especial is with us. Good to see you. Welcome aboard. Says this scenario is suitable for 2 to 6 players taking the role of townsfolk caught up in the in the midst of chaos. The scenario is set in 1920s in Stowell, a friendly place of small town America we all know from television and the movies. People buy groceries at the general store and greet each other on the way to work in the mornings. Kids play barefoot in the street. Any minor feuds, gossip, or rumors only serve to add a little spice to the otherwise happy but mundane lives of the townsfolk. All right, so I kind of get the feeling that we're going to see things get to the point of where you'll feel like you're watching that diner episode of Sandman. I'm gonna bet this one is one creepy. I'm gonna bet this is one creepy adventure. Especially when it's talking about how it's gonna break down to masters and slaves. It's like, oh, okay. Now, my understanding is all of these adventures do have mythos elements. Because I know there had been, oh gosh, I don't remember the title of it. There'd been, not too long ago, a release of adventures that none of them, I mean, they did have horror elements, but they did not have mythos elements to them. So, Bleak Prospect, Crawley, Massachusetts, 1932. Residents of a shanty town in Depression-era Massachusetts find their small community under assault from unknown forces. Working to overcome their own infirmary and the indifference of the authorities, the investigators, residents of the shanty town themselves, need to find out who or what is preying on them before those they hold dear are destroyed. Their investigation will bring them into contact with otherworldly horrors, a house that exists between dimensions, and the machinations of the faceless men. Ooh, scary kids, scary. Right, so it's 1932. Says Bleak Prospect is an unpleasant, unforgiving scenario. Isn't that nice? Characters that have few resources and damaged psyches face powerful forces and see and experience things that will keep them on the brink of madness. It is likely to end with all of the investigators dead, dying, or insane. This is not to say that some form of positive outcome is impossible. A resourceful player may find a way to turn the internal schisms of the Midas Circle to their advantage or gain control of the Hawks device and use it for immoral but beneficial ends. Even then, their sanity will take a battering, and they may be on a path to becoming something less than human. This is probably not a scenario for groups that like happy endings. Well, groups that enjoy happy endings probably aren't playing a lot of Call of Cthulhu. All right. Now this could be another kind of twisted adventure here. So I guess our characters are kind of down and outers. So it looks as if the investigators are checking out some mansion. Maybe it's the Hawks Mansion. Oh, there it is, Prospect House. So we were talking a little bit about Rivers of London as we were taking a look through it last night. And I did have some folks comment on the video. And one of the comments said that it was somebody who tends to check out a lot of the videos on the Gaming Gang channel. And they said they've been playing with their group, Rivers of London, for about a month, and they love it. And yes, it is designed sort of along the lines of an introduction to role-playing games without talking down to the reader, which is pretty cool. Flaming Heron says, always look on the bright side of life. Not what I associate with Call of Cthulhu. I don't either. So we have the Moonchild, which I have heard of this adventure. This is the adventure that kind of references child abuse. But if memory serves me correctly, it's not really a child, but still. So here we go. Milton Keynes, UK, modern day. David Barber was driven to make a deal with the devil to save his son's life. In doing so, he has allowed a great evil to assume the form of a human child. The investigators were all part of an amateur occult society at college along with David back in the early 1990s. Now, some 20 years later, they are drawn back together by a mutual acquaintance. Soon they will come face to face with the Moonchild, who knows more about them than they could possibly guess. Kevin says that apparently the Moonchild has something to do with economics. "20 years ago, a group of 13 students conducted an occult ritual that ushered a malevolent force into the world. Following the ritual, the force held an evil influence over each of their lives until one of them gave birth to the malevolent force in the form of a human child, the Moonchild. 3 members of the group sought to control and exploit the supernatural essence of the child, but instead it gained control over them. It now seeks to draw the rest of the group into its presence so it can assert its mastery over them all." Dun, dun, dun. The scenario addresses several themes, including the abuse of a child, that child actually being a mythos entity. And certain pre-generated investigators' backstories include accusations of sexual misconduct, self-harm, and drug abuse, while one has been diagnosed with cancer. Yes, I would say that would be something that would need to be discussed with players at a table. Although, I mean, the reality is I know what I can get away with my players and what I can't. So, or at least I have a pretty damn good idea. Right, so talking about, it's like the child's name is Bradley. So here's our relationship map here. Yep, Bradley's the Moonchild. I noticed we got into the modern era and we got a very modern style as far as our artwork. Very photographic or photorealistic, I guess we'll say. Oh, well, right here, amputation. There we go. Nice. So there we've got that. That's kind of cool. The Bradley recordings. Over the years, Bradley has been interviewed and interrogated by Mary, David, and Nathan, or Marie, I should say. Sometimes the talks have become amicable. At other times, it has descended into confrontation, screaming, and profanity. So I guess listening to the recordings will cost you sanity, but give you a boost to your Cthulhu mythos. Cool. And then the final adventure is the space between modern day Los Angeles. All right, let's see what we got here. Los Angeles, USA now. The Church of Sunyata is a powerful force in modern day Hollywood, but it is still fighting the popular perception that it is a cult. Part of the campaign to change this involves the funding of a new feature film, one that will present an allegorical story of the church's beliefs. The filming is in trouble, though. The leading lady has vanished, the director has retreated from the world, and the police are sniffing around the set. It's up to the investigators, as loyal members of the church, to make sure that these problems do not prevent the church's vision from being shared with the world, no matter what that vision turns out to be. I don't know. Gotta be honest, for my players, that background might be a little problematic. All right, so it says Origins in 1967. A fantasy writer by the name of Ralph L. Chandler wrote a book that united his interest in psychology, biofeedback, and Zen Buddhism. Well, I assumed this was a Scientology analog here. So there you go. Coco B's like, what church? Founded by a novelist, perhaps? Yes, it is. Right there. The core of Chandler's work is that the human mind is a maelstrom. The secret to enlightenment is to rid oneself of this chaos through a process called emptying, with the ultimate goal of trying to become truly empty. I don't know. To me, I just think that's funny. Filled with nothing but the peace of the cosmos. His approach incorporated Zen meditation, augmented by one-on-one counseling sessions. While there was nothing groundbreaking about this, the fact that it was explained in pseudoscientific terms made Mew appealing to these science fiction fans, engineers, and hippies who made up Chandler's readership. Didn't take long for the influence of Mew to extend beyond this core. In late 1973, Chandler took things further and founded a church. All right. So it looks as if this might be another mystery, like murder mystery. Breaking news, you have been emptied. Breaking news, you are truly empty. Oh, jeez. It says, keep your current stats with the following exceptions. Yeah, here we go. Spoilers, everybody. Spoilers. If you're truly empty, your sanity is now 0. So there you go. You're insane. Your power is now 150. Looks like half your constitution and strength rounded down. And adjust your hit points, constitution plus size divided by 10. I'm taking a guess we've got some sort of entity that's like eating like personalities or something like that. That would be my stab. That is my stab in the dark. Playing one of the emptied. One or more of the investigators might be emptied during play. While this results in the death of the investigator in almost every way that matters, there's no reason why the character should be taken out of the game. There are two types of empty character, the emptied and the truly empty. If an investigator goes through fast-track surgery, they become one of the emptied. If touched by an NPC there, they become truly empty. Present the player with the appropriate handout, which we were just taking a look at. Treat emptied investigators as indefinitely insane. There is still enough of what made them human left to suffer. Truly empty are beyond such things, and the intelligence that fills their skin has no concept of madness and therefore are not required to make sanity rolls. So it also appears that each of these adventures are not only suited for single or maybe two sessions, they all seem like they're one and done. Because so far from what we have seen, all of these adventures do strike me as having a pretty high lethality for the player characters. So then it looks as if the movie gets out there, it's probably going to be a bad thing. Probably kind of like In the Mouth of Madness. I always liked that movie. I know some people out there are like, they're not fond of it. But to me, I think John Carter did a pretty good homage to the Lovecraft mythos with that movie. So, all right, there you have it. That is the second edition of Call of Cthulhu, Nameless Horrors, 6 scenarios against the unknown from Chaosium Inc. Of course, once again, this 202-page hardcover carries an MSRP of $42.99, or you can grab just the PDF alone over at DriveThruRPG for $21.99. All right, let's swing on over to the other camera, of course, keeping in mind I'll have a review of this on the very near horizon. What I might actually do is I might use this as the next, well, no, I guess not. I was going to say I could use these adventures for the next Cthulhu Classics, the Call of Cthulhu Classic case files, but they wouldn't necessarily be classics, even though they are 10 years old. Oh, well, strike that. Strike what I was thinking. So tomorrow, Horror Week is going to wrap up as we take a look at the conspiracy for Delta Green from Arc Dream Publishing. And we're also going to dive on into the new edition of Convergence, which is, I believe, the first adventure that was ever published for Delta Green. So we're going to take a look at this as well. We might even have Shane Ivey from Arc Dream Publishing pop on into chat, because I had let Arc Dream Publishing know that I was going to feature Delta Green on tomorrow's show. So might have Shane pop on in. We will find out. Alrighty, so that is it for this time out. If you were watching live, thank you very much. Hopefully you also gave a little thumbs up to the video as you watched. And of course, if you took part in chat, big tip at the cap, because not only do you get to keep me company while I'm doing the show, you also get to keep each other company as well. So much appreciated there too. David B says, ooh, very much interested in Delta Green. I do have reviews of the core rules and everything if you're kind of curious about the system itself, if you've never checked it out. And I think Conspiracy is sort of also kind of a revamp of the first Delta Green supplement that came out in, what was it, 98? Something like that. Maybe, no, I guess it was earlier than that. Maybe it was 89, something along those lines. So it's actually a modernized version of the original Delta Green supplement that came out, because that came out and it was a supplement for Call of Cthulhu. It just, I don't think it was from Chaosium though. I think it was originally from, oh gosh, off the top of my head, I'm not going to remember the publisher, but they did a lot of really, really good Call of Cthulhu adventures in that. And they also did the Unspeakable Oath. So there's that as well. So anyway, regardless, that's what we're going to be taking a look at on tomorrow's show. So hopefully you will join me for that as well. So if you like the video, by all means, once again, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, don't forget, ding that bell. It'll not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings right here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Central. It'll also inform you when I upload other original videos, such as my recent Paizo preview for March 2023, where I shared the latest physical releases for Pathfinder and Starfinder from Paizo Inc. Yes. But of course, also want to point out that I know a lot of you out there don't have an opportunity to watch live. In fact, we had a first-timer hanging out. Agent Espacial said, Pelgrane Press? No, it was not Pelgrane Press. The funny thing is, I'm going to finish up the stream, and then I'm going to go, oh, damn it, it was this. Because I used to buy their stuff. I used to pick up their, because they would have like adventure supplements, just like Chaosium did. So, damn, it's like, why can't I remember them? Because they've been out of business for quite some time. Anyway, so thank you to all of you out there, regardless if you're watching live or on Memorex. Big tip of the cap. It is much, much appreciated. Everybody enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time of day it is in your neck of the woods. I will be back tomorrow. And of course, here's hoping each and every one of you gets to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.
Oh, hey, you're still here. That's okay. You don't have to leave just yet. In fact, why don't you subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel right here, or take a peek at the latest live stream, or even find out what YouTube recommends you check out from the channel. And of course, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thanks again for watching.